Hi, welcome. Stephanie Foley here from Moonfeather Hollow, and we are doing watercolor painting again today with guest teacher Lara Campbell, who, if you watched our last session, led us through painting our zodiac signs in watercolor. Today we're doing the moon in watercolor. Thanks, Lara, for doing this for us. I'll turn it over to you.
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to teach everybody how to do paint a moon in the sky with stars. I don't think we'll do the trees this time, but basically this right here. Here's another example. And everyone can do this if you've never worked with watercolor. It's very simple. I'm going to first show you how to work with the watercolor, and then I'll do a demo of the sky and the moon. And switch back to gallery. How many people have worked with watercolor before? Kim did in the last one, and Shell, you did, right? I think I saw your work. It's really good work. And Bethany, you're going to learn, and you're going to love it. You'll love it. It's fun.
I've only really done it once. It's not bad.
Oh yeah, she did a great job. She never did it before, and she did a great job. And Stephanie too. That was your first time, right, with watercolor? I don't think she heard me. Stephanie, was that your first time with watercolor? I don't think she hears me. Was that your first time learning watercolor the last time, Stephanie? We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Lara, can you
hear
speak?
me?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked you if that was your first time learning watercolor the last time.
Yes, that was my first time.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to show first how to, it's going to be called wet. It's called wet on wet technique. So what you're going to do, I'm just going to do a little square here on this paper. Just pick up some water with the brush. You don't want it dripping, but you want the water to have like a sheen. Let it absorb it. And then I don't know what kind of watercolor, if you have a watercolor set, that's fine too, because this is basically, I got these from a tube and they've dried, so it would be the same thing as a watercolor set. I'm going to do the blue here. I wet my brush and I'm going to slightly dab the blue paint, and then I'm going to add some water to it. So it's about the consistency of cream. And then I'm going to go back to where I did my water swatch, a little square. It's a little wet right now. And I'm just going to drop the water on, and it's kind of like magic. It's just going to go, the watercolor is just going to go where it's wet. And this is called wet on wet technique. And we're going to do the sky with this technique. So see where the watercolor only goes where I've wet the paper. I'm going to do one more, show you again. So this has a little bit of the watercolor in it, so you'll be able to see better. So I'm wetting the paper. And I'm going to go back over to the watercolor paint that I mixed. Like I said, I dabbed my wet brush in the watercolor and then added a little water, so it's like the consistency of cream. And I'm going to drop the watercolor on my water swatch. And the watercolor is only going to go where I wet the paper. And just let it flow. My desk here is slightly tilted, so it kind of wants to go downhill. gonna spread some of that up. And then if you wanted to add another color, I'm gonna add a purple. So I'm gonna go in here, the purple, and oh, that's more blue. Sorry, that came out blue. I'm gonna add a little red too to make it purple. Red and blue makes purple. There's purple. And I'm gonna, on top of where I did before, just drop in a little of the purple. Just adds a little more color to it. And go back to the other swatch and do the same thing. Or you can just keep it the one solid color, but if you want varied shades, you can do that. Okay. Now I'm going to do wet on dry. So I'm going to leave the paper dry because this is what we're going to do for the moon. I'm going to go in, and so your brush is wet, and you're going to pick up the wet watercolor, and then you're just going to paint it on. And you have a lot more control with this, and you're in control where you're putting the paint. Here I'm just kind of doing a circle. You can do whatever you want. Lines. So that's wet on dry. Okay, so like I said, you wet the paper, and then you mix your watercolor, and then you drop the watercolor down, and the watercolor is going to go where the paper is wet. So it flows more. And then wet watercolor on dry paper, you're in control where you're putting it. Okay. Everyone follow that? Okay.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay. So what we're going to do with the watercolor moon, we'll do the sky first. So I just did a little square 4x4, and then I did a bottle cap in the middle for the moon. And what we're going to do is go in, I'm going to wet the area all around the moon and not get the circle wet, just everything else. And then same thing, I'm going to mix the color that I want for the sky, and where it's wet, when I drop it on, it's going to only go where it's wet. It won't go around the circle where the moon is. So, and I can get in there with the brush and kind of move the paint a little bit, but we're going to leave that white and get a little color mix. I'm going to, since it's a bigger area, I'm going to mix some paint that's going to cover the sky area. So I'm going in with the wet brush, and I'm dabbing the blue paint. I'm doing a blue background for the sky. You can do whatever color you want, or you can do black or a mixture of black and blue.
Should we mix our paint first or get the paper wet first?
I would get some of the, since it's a bigger area, go ahead and get enough paint mixed. This is a little thick right here, but I want enough to fill that area. So I'm going to add water till it's a consistency of cream. That's about the consistency of cream right there. And I'm going to rinse my brush off. So I have the paint ready to do the sky. Now I'm going to go in with just water, and I'm going to drop in the water where the sky is going to be. That's within this square. I'm not going to touch the circle. I'm going to go around the circle with my brush. I made the lines a bit dark, but once you drop that paint down, you're not gonna see that, and it makes it easier to define where the moon's going to be. So see what I'm doing? I'm just wetting the paper. I'm going around the circle, keeping the circle
Are you using the
dry.
same brush you used to mix your paint? How'd you get it so clean?
Just kept dipping it in the water. It doesn't matter if it's got a slight tinge. See, it's got a slight tinge, but that way you guys can see what I'm doing. You can actually see where I'm putting the water.
Gotcha.
I'm doing it within the square, but you know, it kind of looks nice if you even go over the edges. Kind of looks like a, I don't know, a little more loose. So you see what I'm doing? And I'm leaving the circle in the middle dry.
Okay.
I use the tip of the brush to go around and make sure I get pretty close to the line of the circle. And now you don't want the paper dripping with the water. You want it to have a nice sheen. If it's got too much water, you can dab or just let the paper absorb it. If it's got too much water, it's gonna dilute the paint too much. But you want enough that there's a sheen on there. Can you guys see the sheen on there where I've wet it?
It looks a little darker where you've wet it.
Okay. But you see what I'm doing here? Is it clear what I'm doing?
I think so, but speak up, folks, if you need more. Laura is so great about customized direction. Like if something doesn't make sense, just interrupt her, and we're very casual here. She wants us to have fun.
Oh, this is all fun. It's not supposed to be perfect. This is fun. It's your first time with watercolor. It just takes a few times practice, but it's fun. Okay, so now I've got that wet. It's not soaking. I don't have puddles. And I'm going to pick up my paint here, and I'm going to drop it in like I showed you with the little swatch there. I'm going to drop it in and let the water on the paper is going to work for you. It's going to help spread. You can use your brush to spread it too. And then just keep picking up some paint and dropping it. And it's kind of like magic. It's not going to go to the circle there that you kept dry. It's going to go everywhere but there. Now I use the brush a little bit, the point of the brush to go around the circle. Let's see how that's doing that.
Yeah, okay.
So it'll go where you put the water. You don't have to worry too much, but I'm going to use the tip of my brush to go around the moon there.
This is the first time I've seen it actually work on my paper. I just wanted to let everyone know that.
Can we see?
It's actually starting to like go down.
Nice. Yeah, I see.
Before, no. I was like,
very cool.
And while it's still wet, you can add a little more if you want it a little deeper. You can add a little more paint. Once it starts to dry, you don't want to go in and drop more wet paint because you'll get what's called balloons. You can. It's kind of a nice effect. But.
What's a balloon?
Okay, so there I have the sky painted there. Let me see yours again, Kim. Oh, yeah, cool.
What's a balloon? I'm trying to decide if I have one.
A bloom, B-L-U-O-O-M.
Oh,
it
okay.
kind of just looks, here, actually, this one, the swatch got a balloon.
Like right here where I got
right
it like darker.
See where this on the swatch, it kind of looks nice. It's got a tie-dye effect. You can do that for your sky.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
If you want it more solid looking, then don't drop too much paint while it's drying, because then, like I said, it'll get a balloon. So see how this stayed? That stayed completely.
Yeah.
Dry.
Yeah.
Any questions, anyone? Bethany, does it seem clear to you?
Very clear.
I think it's clear. I sort of have a moon and blue.
Oh my God, yeah. I like your sky.
My sky is very, my blue paint is very aqua. It's not very deep.
That's
blue.
all right. Be whatever color you want. I'm going to do another one now while this one's drying, because it's got to dry completely before we put the stars. And I want to wait. I'm going to let the sky dry a little bit before I do the shadows in the moon, just to make sure. But now I'm going to work on a circle here. Same thing, it's just now it's going to be a circle. I'm going to wet the area around the small circle. First, I'm going to mix more paint because I'm out of paint. I might try a different color. What's this one? I'm going to do this is a deeper blue, and I'm going to add a little bit of black to it too, so it's a deeper sky. There we go. I'm going to mix a little more because that's a big area to fill. Because I had just enough for that square. You can always mix more. Just make sure, you don't let that paper dry too much before you mix more paint. Okay, that's going to be the color of the sky for that one, kind of an indigo blue. And now I'm going to go in and just wet the area around what's going to be the moon. And so I've got that area wet, and now I'm going to drop down this paint. And this, like I said, this is kind of like an indigo blue. So I mixed a bright blue with a little bit of black. And I get this almost like a denim color. Kind of looks like a crescent moon with a face.
Oh, yeah.
Does it? There he goes. He's gone now. There we go. There's that one. And let's see if the other one's in this dry. How's everybody doing?
I have an observation. No, I use like pens and ink for everything. So I use one type and it bleeds into it. It's just like a regular ink pen. So it bleeds into the water. So I like it won't be as visible as if I use other items. And I thought that was cool. So that's my observation.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I just use pencil. You can use pen to do your outline. I just did pencil. kind of the pencil line disappears. I made it a little bolder so you guys could see. If I do it on my own, I don't do it quite as bold. This is still, I'm gonna try to dry this faster. And then I'll do a demo. I'll show you how to do the shadows on the moon. I don't think tonight I'll show you how to do it, but in the future we could do another one. See how there's a different colors around the moon here. That's a technique called you lift it out. You take, once it's dry, you take a wet brush and you kind of remove some of the paint, and that's how you get that effect.
Oh, interesting.
But let's, I think, just one thing at a time. For now, just do the sky and the moon. I'll wave in this. What do you think, Bethany? Do you like the watercolor?
Yeah, I do.
It is fun.
It makes me want to learn a lot more.
Yeah, it's fun. There's a lot you can do with it. I find it hard out of all the mediums to work with. The watercolor harder because you don't have as much control. It's not very forgiving. Like acrylic, you can just paint over it. Watercolor's not quite, but this is a fun thing. This doesn't, it doesn't have to be perfect. It kind of looks better when it's not perfect because the sky is all different color shades. You guys ready to see the moon now?
Yeah.
How to do the shadows?
Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. We can wait. I'm not rushing anyway. I want to do this to at least dry some before I do the moon, but we're going to stay within the circle, and it's going to be the dry paper with the wet watercolor technique. So we don't wet this at all because, like I said, with this still being wet, then it would all bleed together. You don't need to wet it for this because we're going to be doing a little more detail work there.
Okay. How's everybody doing?
Okay, so I'm sorry.
How is everybody doing? Everybody ready for the next step? Okay.
Okay, so if you see here, I did a gray, which would just be black, really watered down, and then once I did that, I did just a touch of blue with a different shadow color. So I'm going to start with the black. If you have a black, I don't know if you have that with your kit. Here's my black, and I'm going to water that down. So it's about that color. It's going to come out looking. There's my practice sheet. So it's going to come out kind of a grayish color. Okay. So the moon, when you see the shadows, I think you're seeing craters and all kinds of stuff. And when I've looked at pictures of moons, I kind of see these kind of shapes. I'm just going to go in and dab some of this paint. Might add a little bit of water to thin it out. But like I said, keep this dry, and I'm going to put wet paint on. And if it looks too dark, just re-wet your paintbrush and kind of spread the paint around. And just maybe going a little close to the edge, but not completely to the edge. So that's this side. And now I'm going to go on this side. You can play with it if you want to look at a picture of the moon. But a lot of the pictures I've seen, it kind of looks like this. Non-distinct shapes. Just to give it some shadowing so it looks like the moon, because that's what you see when you look up at the moon. You see those shadow areas. And I'm going to add a little bit of blue in some of the areas because you have different shades when you look up at the moon. the craters. Might dab it with a paper towel a little bit. What do you think of that?
Nice.
Does that seem easy enough? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I can do another one if you want to see. Oh,
Mine doesn't
Stephanie,
look realistic. And I don't know if that's because, like, is there one side that I should be shading more than the other?
well, here's an example, and I got this just by looking at a photo of a moon. I just kind of do a blob here and one here, and then go over to the other side. Sometimes I'll connect them because I've seen pictures where they connect in the middle.
Okay,
And like
thank
I said, I first do the watered down black to get the gray look, and then I go up with like a blue to deepen it in some areas, just in some areas. You see that? I'll bring it closer. Oh, there we go. There we go. Look, Stephanie, here's an example of a bloom.
Oh, I see. Okay, sure.
Right there, but you know, it's kind of an effect that you use too.
Yeah, it's like the water is pushing the paint there.
Yeah, and it makes like a line. I mean, it's not desirable for certain kinds of art you're doing, but fun stuff like this, it kind of looks cool. It's a neat effect.
Yeah, I agree.
When you're doing botanical art where everything's like supposed to be perfect and accurate, you don't want to bloom. But stuff like this is fun. I'm going to do another moon and show you guys the shadows. So like, again, I'm going to take black and water it down so it comes out gray looking on the paper. And I'm going to go in. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of blue to deepen the shadows, just in a few places. And I'm going to dab it a little bit.
I know that you've been painting a long time, but how long have you been doing watercolor?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I would say 7 years, but
Yeah.
I'm still learning. But when I took botanical art, that was the main medium we used. We do the sketches, the initial sketch in pencil, and then you paint over it.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
And then the first couple layers you would do wet on wet, like you would do the leaves and the stems and the flowers, that petals that way, and then you would do all the technique, what I showed you, the dry brush or wet paint on dry. But it's extremely detailed. I have to use real tiny brushes and
Yeah, I was gonna say you should show us, and then I was like, oh, you're going into details, real details, and I'm like, oh, maybe not yet.
That's the advanced class.
I know, like we'll go for lesson 3 before Kim attempts.
That's what I was saying. We could do another extension of this where we do we do the sky like this.
Oh, it's
And then
gorgeous.
add
Yeah,
trees.
it is gorgeous.
And add trees, but I think
Yeah.
let's do this first.
No, oh, I'm fine for right now. But like, it's like on lesson 3, I might get this one. So I'll just be one behind as we go forward.
I see what you mean. Okay.
How's everybody's moons coming along?
Should we do a little show and tell? I am going to take the camera off of Lara for a second so that we can do a little show and tell. Let me find which, because Lara's in here twice. I have to find out which one's the, let's see. Oh, there we go. Bottom one, moon spotlight. Okay, now, if I talk, it should pop me into, hello.
Oh, yeah.
Did it show me? Okay, because for me, it's still showing Lara. Am I big screen or am I the little screen?
I'm seeing you on the little screen.
Okay, I guess I'll just highlight me then to figure out how to. Nope, I don't know.
I can see you though. I am in speaker view.
Yeah, so so you're in the middle of the screen now. So the person speaking should be in the middle of the screen. So as long as you have the screen, Kim, you want to show us what you've got?
I didn't know I had the screen, but sure. Let's see.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I'm working on it. It'll eventually get it.
All right. Do you feel like progress since last time?
Oh yes.
Does that feel good?
So like now I feel like what I was supposed to be doing like last time is what I'm doing now. I actually saw the the paint drop and I'm like, oh wow, that's what it's supposed to do. So I am quite happy actually. Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Anybody else want to show us what they've got? How about you, Bethany?
Sure. So I don't know if you can see it. So I did that one. And this one I'm kind of curious about because the paint all pushed to the edges of my blobs. And maybe it's because I'm using cheap, like, kid watercolor paint. But then I did this one and it seems to be working a little better, but I didn't do anything differently.
Interesting. Lara, you're muted if you were talking.
You've never done watercolor before?
No.
Wow. You're good. It looks really good.
Thanks.
It could just be the amount of it could be a very subtle change in the amount of pigment paint on the brush or the amount of water on the brush to have it be pooling different.
Yeah.
But
I literally am using kid paint.
That's fine. Yeah, maybe make it a little thicker. If it's real wet, it'll spread. But it looks good. It looks fine because I've seen pictures of the moon where it's over at the edge, the shadows. Hi, Luna.
Hi.
I'm still waiting for this to dry to put the paint pen so we can do the stars. That's the fun part. Do you have a paint pen, Bethany?
No, I didn't know I needed one, so I'll have to go buy one some point.
Okay, I'll just show you then how to do it. Or if you, I don't know, is there white watercolor there?
No.
No, okay. I'll just show you.
I have a silver paint pen. I can make silver stars.
Well, that's
Yeah, that
fine.
would look
Do that.
nice.
No, that
Okay.
would look really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that would look great.
Did we
Because
lose
your
Shell?
paint's
Oh no,
dark
Shell's
enough.
still here. Shell, do you have anything that you want to share with
Oh, yeah,
us?
let's
Either
hear
something
it.
you made or something Mina made?
Oh, she's a handful, so I wasn't able to do anything on my own. But she was
Oh,
able to
she
do
did such a great
this,
job.
and then,
Oh, she did a beautiful guy.
Aww.
baby.
Oh,
That is
I love
beautiful.
that.
And then I just drew trees so she can paint
Oh,
on
I
them
love it.
Wonderful.
and put them all together maybe later once it's dry.
Wow.
Oh,
Luna's
that's
enjoyed
great.
looking at her.
Future
Luna,
artist. Hi,
who's gonna make
Luna.
a friend?
Good job. Oh, we have a friend. See?
She so enjoys looking at her. Can you wave?
You guys will have to set up a Zoom play date.
Totally.
You
That's
you
so
and Shell
cute.
will be like, okay, if we put them each in front of each other, then maybe they'll keep each other busy long enough for us to get this done.
Exactly.
What's that, baby? It's a friend.
Amy, do you have any show and tell for us?
Me?
Yeah.
I am painting cabinets for our van.
Oh, cool.
That's my show and tell.
That's awesome. Well, we're thrilled that you could come and join
I like your
us for the
headlight.
camaraderie.
Thank you. It's
That's
pretty
cool.
styling. Luna loves it. She thinks it's hilarious.
I love it.
Don't you? You love it.
Oh, did everybody get to share? I think so. Okay, back to you, Lara. We're spotlighted. Oh, I spotlighted the wrong Lara.
I'm waiting for this to oh, okay. I'm just waiting for this to dry and then I'll show how to do the paint pens to do stars.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right.
And,
Well, while we're
Beth-
waiting for it to dry, what do we want to learn from Lara next? What does Lara want to teach us next? Do you want to set up another one for May?
Sure.
Give some thought to what it will
What do you-
be.
We could do this again, but add trees, like, landscape.
Oh, I'd love to.
Make it a little more advanced, different layers of color. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I would love to do the one where you have multiple colors in the sky and then the trees.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the next step.
That'd be lovely.
I think it would be too much this time. It's because you'll know the basic, you'll do the sky and the moon, and then this is adding another dimension to it, and then adding trees. So I think it's too much this time, but we could do that next time.
I love that idea. When you do that, do you have to leave space at the beginning, or are you going over the top of what you've already done?
The sky, I do it at the same time, and then when we let it dry, and then I'll do a lift out technique to get the glow around the moon. So that's
Okay.
another step, and then at the very end we paint in the trees when we
Okay.
do the star. So it's several steps. So I think it's too advanced for this one, but next time.
Okay.
Lara,
Yeah.
are there cheats? Like, can you use a hair dryer to speed up the drying
Oh
time?
yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I do that all the time. Yeah, I should have one now, but
And Bethany, do
I
you
was just-
have acrylic paint? Any acrylic paints around?
Just craft paint, but not art acrylic paint.
Even like a white acrylic craft paint, like just the super cheapo.
Yeah,
like,
I have some
cheapo
of that.
ones.
Like
You
Apple
can-
Barn. Yeah, I have that. Yeah.
Yeah, I use this a lot. You can just add more water to this white, and it's like a white watercolor.
Oh, okay. I have some
You
of
can
that.
add
Yeah.
water to a lot of acrylics to kind of have a cheat of a watercolor.
Yeah, and then just use if you have a real pointy tip on a paintbrush or a small paintbrush, you can do that and then dab and do the
Yeah.
stars
I have it.
if you want to try that. But here, I have a paint pen here. Should we spotlight on that? And
Yep, it's
show
spotlighted.
how to do the star. Okay, so I just go in and draw a dot. Different places, different sizes, all over. The bigger ones, I kind of have to color them in. But Bethany, you can do this with the paintbrush, dab it in, like Amy said, in the acrylic paint. So that's basically what the paint pen is watered down acrylic. So I'm just dotting the sky all over the place, and places where I want bigger stars, I just kind of color them in. And then I'm going to show you how to accent some of the stars, put little tails on. Okay, so I'm going to do this one. So this one here, I'm going to make it slightly bigger, and then I'm going to go draw a line that way, draw a line going across this way, and that makes them stand out. And I kind of do them randomly. I don't overdo it, but just, you know, a few in there. Kind of make, some of them I make that tail a little longer. Okay.
Oh, that's so fun.
Isn't that fun? And there you have it. There's your starry night with the moon. See if this one's dry enough. This is where I did the darker sky. Oh yeah. So you guys practice this, and then next time I'll teach you some other techniques. We'll go one step further.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. And we'll have this video that I will post the link to on the events. And then I think what I'll do is I'll go back and make them into an article in Capri's Crafting Cove, where I have both videos in the same article. So that from the last time from the Zodiac watercolor, so that folks can always go back to that as a reference for practice too.
Yeah, Bethany, check out the Zodiac, because it's basically, except for the moon, you're doing the sky, and then you're going to look up your Zodiac sign, and then you, with the paint pen or the acrylic paint and the brush, you dot it in, and then you connect the stars.
Okay.
And that's how you
Yeah, I
do the
definitely want to
Zodiac.
do one of those.
They're fun. I give them as gifts. Oh my God, everyone loves them.
Oh, that's a good
I
idea.
do the same thing. I do a circle. I do the sky scene in a circle, and then I do their Zodiac sign, and I frame it.
Such a great birthday present idea if you do that. Yeah. How
Yeah.
fun.
Isn't it? Yeah, I've been so far I've given 3 for birthday presents.
So fun. Does anybody have any questions for Lara?
No, but my silver paint pen looks cute. I don't know if you
Oh,
can
let's
see my
see it.
stars.
Let me change the view. Hang on.
I love it.
Can you
I'm gonna
can
do
you see it
that.
sparkle?
Yeah, I like that. That was better than white. That is so cool. Or you could do a mixture. The white and the silver. I have a silver pen. I'm gonna
Yeah,
try
that looks great. Cool.
Let me see again.
Hang on, Bethany. I'm trying to get you on the spotlight so we can see you. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I like the color of your sky too.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice.
Now that I finally have you spotlighted. I don't
There
know
she
what
is.
my-
Hold it up now.
Hold it up now. Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool.
Oh, wonderful. I love the way it sparkles.
I'm gonna do silver. I have a silver paint.
Yeah, it's really cute.
That is great. Very cool. Okay. Well, while we were working, Sabrina was able to join us.
Oh,
I want to see if she's able to say hi.
hi,
Do you
Sabrina.
have your volume and everything connected, Sabrina? Are you able to say hi and introduce yourself, or is it a bad time to put you on the spot? Just ignore us if it is. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out how to stop spotlighting dear Bethany. You're on candid camera. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll say it was really nice to see you, Shell and Bethany, on Zoom. It's great to see your faces.
Nice to see you too, Amy.
I
Yeah.
want spotlight. Is that supposed to?
I I think no one is on Spotlight right now. I think it's on
It
speaker
just,
view.
Is ever
it just
talking?
said that I was to unmute myself. So I just wanted to unmute myself and ask.
And here's this finished one. If you want to highlight it.
Okay. There. Oh, nice.
Looks great.
Ta-da! And see, kind of the paint, because it was wet, it didn't get full coverage in here, but I kind of like it because it looks like the sky, kind of like where the Milky Way is.
Yeah, it's very realistic.
So there
Sabrina
you can.
says hello to everyone. Her audio's not working.
Hi, Sabrina.
And this was
Mhm.
recorded, so anybody can go back and watch it from the beginning, or do it over again in practice. And we will try to schedule another one for sometime in May. I'll work with Laura to get a date set. Yeah, anybody else have any questions before we wrap up?
I do. My paint pen is disappearing into my moon. So, and the sky, so I'm assuming that it's still wet. Is that correct?
Probably still too wet. That's all.
Got
It's
it.
just too wet. See, I sat here and went like this to dry mine. It's too wet.
Okay.
When it's too wet, it's not going to work. That's all.
Got it.
But you're doing
I will do
good.
it
I
later.
mean, you're getting to be a pro at the watercolor now.
Excellent. Good stuff.
And Bethany, I'm really impressed with yours. Really nice.
Oh, I should show you with the stars now.
You can't believe you never done watercolor. It looks really good. Oh my God, I love it.
You see mine?
Crescent moon.
Yeah,
that is so
I wanted
cute.
to try something different.
Yeah, okay. You give me an idea. I want to do a crescent moon.
That's
I'm
awesome,
always I'm always doing the full moon. Maybe I'll do a crescent the next class.
Kind of fun. Yeah, variety
See, you
is the
guys all-
spice of life.
Yeah, you guys inspired me, so I want to do a crescent moon and I want to do the silver pink pen.
Wonderful. All right,
Stephanie,
I'm
can
going to
I see
wrap
your
up the
crescent?
recording then. And we can stay on, but I'm just going to wrap up the recording.